Well, the Mark 19, everything it runs on its own script. It's basically all the functions and threads that came on, that I got off of the airlift mission. Um, that's where everything comes from. I got it from there, and I created a standalone game script for it, a GSC for it, and you're able to use that to make your own C19 work in your own map. So it's a standalone version for it. Just you would just have to tell it what to do during the scripting. What we have to do, well, if you can see right here, I've added some notes. I'm eventually gonna give this out in the description, and you'll be able to download the script and use it for your own map. It already tells you what to put and where to put it. The stuff to add to your song file, that's important, um, and how to create, what to add to your sound aliases, so that it works pretty good. Okay, so what you want to do on your own map, on your own maps GSC, you want to go ahead and include that script. So you, at the very top above main, you will put include maps backslash underscore C9 seaknight underscore mark19 semicolon. Um, then before the load, there's a few things you should put. The effects, the level effects. You could either put this in that script or in your map name underscore effect dot gsc. You know, it doesn't matter where you put it as long as it's a pre-cache. And then since the Mark 19 uses a shader for a meter bar, so you can see how it goes up and down. That's a shader, um, and you have to pre-cache that shader. So pre-cache shader HUD temperature gauge. That's and then since we are having a seaknight airlift vehicle, you have to go ahead and define that too in the script. So map seaknight airlift. This is the script we're getting it from, and from the main function on that script, we're defining the vehicle model that we're using. So that's that right there. Then the map load happens. Ignore this stuff right here. That's some other testing purposes I was doing. Same with the TV, other testing and controller. The thread we want to go to is the thread heli, and that's the one we're gonna go to right here. Okay, let me close this. By the way, I'm using a programmer's notepad. It's much more better to work with than notepad. I don't know if it's free or what. I just got it. Don't ask how. Um, Now, what we want to do is we always want to go ahead and the very first thing I always do in my scripts is identify the trigger that spawns our helicopter. So, and then wait for it to be triggered, and then proceed with the scripting. The reason why is because sometimes when the map loads, and if your vehicle spawns just automatically that, you might get in a assert fail error or some kind of error because the game wasn't able to recognize the existence of that vehicle or whatever. So it's always best to have your vehicle spawn through trigger, and then identify your vehicle after the trigger has been triggered. And that's what I did. I gave it also a wait time, a very short wait time of 0.005. So that's really short. It's just enough time to, you know, catch some air and then identify if the helicopter exists. So ID our heli right here. This is the target name and value that it has, and we assert it, just to make sure that it's there. Then once it is there, we run the first thread, and then for the Mark 19 and all the functions of that seaknight, and that's the vehicle, which is this heli. That's the variable of the vehicle, and then this heli thread C9 main, and so everything from the C9 main right here, which does this stuff, and trace height, if the turret is overheat, the status of it, color max, etc., and run some other stuff, other threads, which is important to have. So you have to always kind of do that after you identified your heli. Then this thread right here, heli and the rig, is the trigger that's on the floor. That's gonna be notifying us when the helicopter lands. So that's just trigger radius right there. Okay, so that's what it is right here. And as you can see, get entity out to 24. Target name. We'll wait till it's triggered and wait some additional time of 3.75 before we notify it. That's a reason so that the player doesn't run into the helicopter right away as it's landing, and so he will still get hurt and damage and whatnot. So once we did do that, we identify all the clips that make the clips, these clips up here, and we're gonna link them to the helicopter. So remember I said we're gonna link up via script. So heli clips link to our entity, which is a helicopter, our origin, our tag, which is a tag origin, and any offsets. But since I don't have any offsets, that doesn't matter. I put them 0, 0, 0, and the same on the other one. Then the def trigger, which is this one right here, we do the same thing, but this time because it's a trigger, it handles differently. We have to first identify it like any other thing. Manual link to, we use the thread manual link to identify the heli, and then to its origin, do we want to offset it off the origins of that heli, and we don't, so that's 0, 0, 0. We want to keep it in that same area, so this will be the center, and we want to keep it in that area, that's so we won't offset it. Then we have to run the thread from the heli squashes stuff. Okay, it comes from the underscore vehicle GSE, and this is considered a wrapper right here, maps underscore blah 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 on that info. And this is the identifier, this right here, the heli landed safely string. That's the one that's gonna tell it to stop, with the if the player triggers that trigger to kill them, it will stop when we give out this notification, and that's the purpose of the trigger radius. So once it gets triggered, we notify it, and then that will just instantly, stop that thread. Okay, this is a trigger that's, like I said, gonna be up, and it's gonna be up front. So when we get close by and we enter, we're just gonna link up our player to it. So there it is. It's also a trigger, so we manually link to it, and no offsets. There's a struct. This right here is a struct, the first struct that for this example, where we want the we want the helicopter to reach, and then we're gonna make them settle down. And as you can see in this script, we'll wait till he triggers that struct, and it has to be triggered by the heli. And then once he does, we tell the heli, hey, detach from the path, and then land. So this, he's gonna detach and then land, and once he lands, we're gonna use this thread, seaknight open door, which is also in the seaknight mark19, which is somewhere I believe down here. Open doors uses animatry, blah blah blah, and handles that stuff. Then the mark19 trigger will wait till it's triggered. That's this trigger right there, and after it's triggered, we'll mount it, and then tell the turret how to act and behave, and and once the player gets on there, we'll close the door, wait 3/4 of a second, and then the vehicle will resume path. After 9 seconds, the vehicle will dismount the player. So with that all said and done, let's see how it looks. And I've already done everything beforehand, so everything's updated and whatnot. So let's just run the map and check it out. Hopefully the video will be good quality. You'll be able to tell. So right here's the trigger, spawns. Oh, we're gonna land under it just so you can see it kills me. There you go. That's the def trigger. And We're gonna land this time, just let it land. So right now it hits that radius trigger, opens the door, and see, you could tell it has a, you could hear the metal clipping. Now here, right here in this area right here, about right there, that's where this trigger is. So we go ahead and mount the player, take off, fire the gun, dismount the player, and it will eventually come off. That's all. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful.